Hello friends, it's Cindy Brumbaugh from CindyLeeBDesigns.com, independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. I have a cute alternative use for the snow globe scenes dies that are in the holiday catalog. Instead of using them as a snow globe, I made them into a gumball machine. When I first saw these dies and this globe here, I thought of gumball machines. And then I went on Pinterest and I kind of looked at a few different gumball machines, what they look like. And then I was really taken by this pretty card by Audrey Tokach, and it had the black and white stripes on it. So I just made my own black and white border, black and white striped border around the bubblegum machine. So let's get started here with what we're going to be using. We're going to use Real Red as our card base. Now when you cut out this largest rectangle die from the stitched rectangle dies, you need to cut your paper width to about an 1/8 inch smaller than normal on an A2 size card. Normally it's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. You're still going to leave it 5 1/2, but you're going to trim this down to 4 1/8, so it has a nice pleasing border around your panel. That'll also mean that the piece that goes on the inside of your card is also going to be cut down, so it'll be 3 7/8, but it'll still be 5 1/2 in this dimension. Now all these dimensions are on my blog, CindyLeeBDesigns.com, and after the description on the YouTube video there is a link, and that'll take you directly to my blog post where all of my materials, colors, and any other little things I need to say to you, but also the description is going to have all the materials I use. So here we go. We have this card base that's 11 inches that we scored at 5 1/2, and we have it at 4 1/8. And then the inside there, and just to look at the inside here, I just use the sentiment, "You're not old, you're just older," because that is a really cute sentiment that is in the Itty Bitty Birthdays, and the font in that matches this really cute little font here in the Itty Bitty Christmas, "Oh what yum," with the bubblegum balls there. So there we go. We are going to set everything aside and get started here. So we have our inside, so why don't we just go ahead and put that on the inside here. And then that part will be done. So we're going to open up our card here. We're just going to get a nice border around the bottom and the two sides. And when I'm doing that, it just seems to fall right into place there. And then I put some gumballs in there. Okay, so now we are going to take a look at how I built up that panel. What I did is I took 1 inch pieces, 1 inch wide pieces, and they're probably about, they're 5 1/2 or so. But what I did is I just took them and layered them, every other one black and white. So then I just taped them all together, and then I'm going to cut it out with the stitched rectangle. Now I'm going to show you instead of doing it, because I made a video before this and it was the longest video ever. So what I did is I taped them all together. As you can see, they're all scotch taped on there. And then, or you can also put a piece of very vanilla, Whisper White. Why would you use very vanilla? You could put anything down there, I guess. But what you're going to do is put this die here, and you're going to tape it into place because you don't want it moving when you run it through your Big Shot. Also, while you're doing that, you may as well cut out this opening here on your card, which is going to be this opening on your panel that the globe comes through. Okay, so how did I know exactly where to put that? I took a couple pieces of scratch red that I had, and I cut out the bases, and then I knew that I'd have room for it on my thing, and then I just on that panel, and so then I knew that would work out okay. And then I ran it all through the Big Shot, and in my first video it took me what seemed like days to show you. So then here I can just pull this all off here, and see I have a little bit that I should have ran through. So there we go. So now you can see we can take out this middle, and that's going to be where our globe goes through, and then we have this beautiful stitched rectangle panel to go on the front of our card. So we're just going to set that aside. We're going to pull this piece of purple tape here. It's like a not very tacky. So that was what we cut the inside out of that. And we also are going to want to cut out a plain piece of white out of a piece of scratch paper, so we have it to go inside here. And that's going to be kind of like a template for us to know exactly where we want to put our gumballs. So what I'm going to do now is I am going to put this panel of black and white exactly where I want it on my card so that I have the border the same on all 4 sides. Then I'm going to adhere this snow globe portion with the flat bottom. I'm going to adhere it right inside that hole I made. So now I know exactly where it's going to go on the card, and I can take off this border now. Okay, so I took off that border, and now I can start building up my gumballs here. Okay, so let us look at the different colors I have here. Call Me Clover, Melon Mambo, Pumpkin Pie, Daffodil Delight, Pacific Point, and Gorgeous Grape. And I cut those out, punched them out with a 3/4 inch circle punch. So I just popped them all out. I did 3 of each one. And then what I'm going to do is layer them into my globe here. So I'm just going to use my card here as a little cheating guide because I already thought it out once. And now if you guys use the same colors, you don't have to think it out. So I just put a Gorgeous Grape and then a Call Me Clover and then a Pumpkin Pie. There we go. Things are, let me get a little more here. And some Pumpkin Pie. I think I'm going to get my glue out. It might be a little easier than using my snail. And then I used a Melon Mambo. And I put that guy there. And then a Daffodil Delight. And then a Pacific Point. And then I've got each of the colors in my globe started. Then what I did for the next layer is I used dimensionals to pop them up. So I got my regular size dimensionals and then I just started layering. So here you can see I have a yellow one, a pumpkin pie one. I do know my colors. And then I just layered it on there. And then I put a Melon Mambo one. I love how bright and cheery these colors are, and I did the Melon Mambo one. And then it looks like I have a Pacific Point. Well, let's put the actual, let's work this way and put our Call Me Clover. And I kind of popped him a little bit under the pink of the Melon Mambo. And then I have a Pacific Point, and we'll pop that one on. And then we're going to put the Gorgeous Grape one right on top there. Remember, because you're putting this globe on, you have plenty of room to pop up your gumballs. So now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put our panel on. Okay, our panel is going to be going here, but we're going to need our globe. And our globe was sitting over on my desk. So these come 10 of these in a package, the Snow Globe Shaker Domes, and you get 10 of them. And that is going to be going underneath, and then adhered to the card base. So I find it the best way for me is I'm going to take off the top. So this is the dome that's rounded here. I'm going to take off the adhesive release paper here to expose the adhesive. And then I am going to put it onto the snow globe. And then I'm going to burnish right around the snow globe, and you can see that it's adhered there. Okay, so the next thing is we're going to remove this here, but we're also going to put some glue here. So we can just go ahead, use our paper piercer or take your pick tool and just get that little release there. Let me see, maybe it'll work a little better down here. Okay, there we go. See, the piece just got to find a little edge there. All right, and then I'm going to put my Tombow glue to adhere this to the card. I like using the Tombow in this case instead of my snail because I have a little wiggle room when I'm putting it down. There we go. I put a little here in the corner. Alrighty. And then we are just going to place it right over, and you know you have it in place because you knew you measured it before, and you have an equal border all around the top and the two sides. Okay, now you need to put on your bottom, your base. Now what I did here, when I first made one of these cards, I just had it plain. I was like, that's kind of really plain. So what I did is I took and I cut out, using the dies that are in that set here, I cut out first the solid one, the solid red, which looks like this. And then I cut out the filigreed piece, and then I just layered it on top. And isn't that a beautiful layering? Well, I'll tell you the easy way to do that is put Sizzix adhesive sheets over the back of your cardstock. So what you would do is you would peel off the one piece and put it on the back of here, and then turn it over and put your die into place so that you're putting your die on top of the cardstock, because then your adhesive is on the back, and then all you have to do is peel up this adhesive backing. It's a lot easier than playing with your glue. Okay, and then I just stuck that right onto that base. There you go. Now I wanted to make that base higher. You could have made it just a small one, but I wanted a space for the gumball to come out and one to turn. So what I did here is I took a piece of Scotch tape and I put it under the back of the bottom one. Okay, so there I can just now build up the base, and I just use this open space on here to be a guide to just center it and then put the tape together there. And then I went and put dimensionals behind the card base. I made sure to put one right on the place where they overlap, because as you can see, it's kind of bending up, but once we push them down, the dimensionals down, we will definitely have a good flat surface there. So there, another one. Make sure you have them up close against there. Looks like I could move this one a little bit. Okay, there we go. So we've got our dimensional. I think I might just be really generous today. I think I've went through an entire sheet of dimensionals today on just a couple cards. But that's okay. I've always got dimensionals. Every order I make, I put dimensionals on it because I know I use them a lot. Okay. Whoop. Now we have all the adhesive off, and then we are going to pop that base up flush against the bottom of our globe where it's flat there. So you can see we're getting together here. Now, let's go ahead and put on our silver. Now, I noticed after I made this one, and I made another card, and I just got like glue and guck on my silver foil. So I decided on this one, I was going to use our glimmer paper. And since it doesn't have glitter that comes off of it, that new glimmer paper, it's nice because you don't have all that all over your hands. Now, you'll notice on this one, I made the little turner that you turn to get the gumballs out. I use the word window punch, but we do not have that anymore. So what I did on this one is I used the classic label punch. And what I did was I cut out the classic label punch. Okay, I want you to imagine this is our classic label punch. And then what I did is I cut off the two ends there. And then I'm just going to take this middle piece and I'm going to put a little bit of glue on that middle piece, on the back side of it. That's exactly what I didn't want to happen. I didn't want glue all over there. That's why I should have my silicone mat out. Then I can just use that as my template to put these two pieces back on. Then put there. And there you go. And that's a little turning thing. And because I used glue, I can play around a little bit and get it perfect. And then if you have a little piece that pops out, you just trim off that little edge. The first time I made this video that was way too long, everything was sticking to me. So you have this little turner thing that is going to go on our, and I actually like the glimmer paper more. So we're also going to put a little circle here in the middle of it, the little cranking thing. But I wanted to show you how I made this little guy here, okay? And that the part that the gumball comes out. I just used the timeless label punch, timeless tag. I meant timeless tag punch. And what I did is I put it on before I adhered this, but you know what? I'm very good at fixing my mistakes. So I'm going to show you how to fix a mistake. So if this is needs to go on here and I would have to cut it along there, I'm just using this piece of red that I had here. And I can easily just, see, that's why I used up all those dimensionals. But I know I'm going to use this red for some. So then I can just cut. You always know when somebody can fix mistakes that they've made a lot of them. So there we go. Now I have this little piece to go here. And doesn't that glimmer paper just look awesome on there? I like it way better than the foil. I love foil paper, but it's not very forgiving when you've got messy paws. So there we go. We have the little opening that the bubble gum comes out. Now I just wanted to decorate some of the color down here. And so what I did is I stamped from the itty bitty, where did I put it? Oh, from the itty bitty, oh, here it is. From the Itty Bitty Christmas, I did this Oh What Yum. And then I used the Itty Bitty Birthdays because it had the same font style there. You're not old, you're just older. I used that. So I have this cute little yellow gumball that I'm just going to put kind of off to the side there. And the way I'm going to do that is I'm also going to put glue on there. So I'm going to glue that onto the glimmer. And the nice thing about this glimmer paper, it doesn't have that all that glitter that comes off, and so that makes it a lot easier to adhere things to. So now I've got my extra gumballs here, and I'm just going to kind of layer them and put them around the gumball. I just thought it really finished off the card nicely. So we've got a Pacific Point, and then a Call Me Clover, and then a pumpkin pie. Kind of slip that one over there. Let me see. There we go. And then it looks like we have a gorgeous grape and a melon mambo. And I think I need to pull out my Call Me Clover here a little bit to see if I can get that. Since I glued it, it might not be able to. I don't think enough of it oh well, we'll just have to leave it that way. Okay, so we're gonna put some melon mambo right there and a gorgeous grape here. And to tell you the truth, this green one is bugging me. So I'm just gonna pull him out of there. Come on, come on. Get that green one out. He's not in the right place. But why can't, I know why I can't get him out of there, because he's glued in there. That's one thing about using Tombow. But luckily I have another green one here, and I'm just gonna put that so we can see a little more of the green. There we go. He just looks a little better there. And then this one, it almost like it needs a little tiny dimensional under there. So when I have that little bit, I can always just pop a little mini dimensional right under there and then pull off that release backing, and then that'll sit nicely there. And then he moved a little bit on me. There we go. Okay, so we want to put on our little guy there. We're going to take this little 3/8 inch punch. Now this one is, I don't know where it came from, but I'm going to just pop that on top of that little turning thing that we did. So you're going to use a little dimensional there, a little mini dimensional, not a little dimensional. Put it on the back of that, and then you'll put it in the middle of that little thing we made out of the classic label punch. And then I want to pop that up too. So what I'm going to do is just take some of these edges that are right here. I'd say about that much. Never throw away all those little edges. And then I'm just going to put that on the back of that little turning thing we did, and I'm just going to put it kind of slightly at an angle, like it's getting turned, so people know that it's the turning mechanism. So isn't that adorable? And like I said, we just went and put the little sentiment in here and a couple more gumballs, and we've got a cute alternative use for that snow globe die, making a gumball machine. So I hope you enjoy this. If you did, give me a thumbs up on YouTube. Remember, after the description on YouTube, there is a link to the blog post that I have this card. I have down the materials that I've used, any products that you know, you need to have a good knowledge of, they're there. It is not step-by-step instructions. The video is the step-by-step instructions, but you'll find everything else you need to know there. If you have any more questions, please don't hesitate to contact me. You can email me at cindyleeb@gmail.com, or you can call or text me at 724-323-2296, and you can ask me any of those questions. I really appreciate you taking the time to see this gumball machine card made with the snow globe dies that are in the holiday catalog. Thanks for buzzing by, friends.